So from my perspective, solving the climate challenge is only going to be possible if you bring together coalitions of different groups that are going to be helping to provide that solution together. And that means bringing together people who haven't traditionally worked together, and in particular the private sector with policymakers, governments, regulators, and together with finance, and then critically also the academic base where so much of the innovation is happening. Those three different groups, multiple different groups, need to really be engaged collectively if we're to accelerate the transition. Well, I think at an event like this, it's almost the most important aspect of it is that sense of excitement and energy that's really you come up with. I've been sitting in sessions where I was just in a session on a panel with the Chief Sustainability Officer from Google, and we were literally, she would say something, the work that they're doing looking at contrails from aviation, and I would be saying, well, we're looking at that from a university perspective as well in terms of the research. Or she was talking about some of the AI technologies that they're looking at to help support climate solutions, and I would say, well, we're looking at that from the university side as well. So it was just a really good example where, well, first of all, we could see huge opportunities for future collaboration, but it was something just about inspiring each other, and the excitement that's created around that is almost the innovation spirit that comes alive at events like this. So I'm a climate scientist, and for all the excitement in climate solutions, that for me has to always be tempered with what I see as a climate scientist, and how the playbook that we have been warning the world about for 30 years from the climate science is starting to come to reality, and we're seeing that in terms of the wildfires, in terms of the heat waves, in terms of the floods that are afflicting communities around the world, and more than anything actually in terms of an area that I've done a lot of work on in the polar regions. Antarctic sea ice this year is off the charts in terms of the scale of loss. So those aspects really drive home the urgency of the response, and where there's literally not a minute to waste in terms of rapidly scaling up our global response to climate change in terms of emissions reductions, and critically also, given the state we're in, building resilience to the climate changes and the impacts of that we're already seeing. I get the sense that at events like this, the businesses that come along to Climate Week are enlightened and they want to be part of the solution. Almost the trouble is those businesses that are not represented here at Climate Week, who are still acting against, in some instances, against climate action, and those governments that are progressive and are supporting rapid climate action, and those that are still acting against it. And what can we do? Well, events like this do help to create an ever larger group of progressive businesses who are looking to form new collaborations and drive forward new sectors to create a more sustainable future. And we can only hope that Climate Week expands and expands and expands rapidly until it becomes the whole economy. So COPs happen year on year, and it feels as though incremental progress has been made year on year. It's quite clear that we're at a stage where ambitions and pledges need to turn into action sector by sector across the global economy, and clear messages need to be put in place to underpin that. And one of the clearest messages that could come out of COP28 is a very clear message that the fossil fuel era is over, and this whole discussion about phase down or phase out, we need to be absolutely clear that fossil fuels need to be phased out now, and there needs to be no ambiguity about that. I think that would be a very important and strong signal to come out of COP28.